Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Jelena.
Welcome to our tutorial on Yoginidrasana. Nidra means
Sleep.
sleeping yogi pose.
Not very comfortable.
No.
Or sleeping
Yeah.
setup.
Once the flexibility comes, it's very relaxing.
You're like just putting two legs behind the head and
This pose shows up in the intermediate series, and it's not so bad actually.
it's not bad. Like you have Ekapada Shirshasana, one leg behind head, obviously. Then you build up to two legs behind head. And then you have this one, which is easier. And this is always an interesting thing within the sequence is where you see kind of things, get a little bit harder. But then you come out of that depth nice and slow. So Yoginidrasana is easier because your body is being supported by the ground. Like you're literally lying on the ground to get into it, to put both legs behind the head, which is much more comfortable than trying to balance on your bum in Dvipada.
Yeah.
Shirshasana.
And in fact, you already did this pose the other way around in primary series, Supta Kurmasana. But before we enlighten you any further, have you subscribed? Sorry to make it awkward. It's just I want to tell you how important it is to us. And also, maybe you could just like the video and comment. Tell us what you want to see, what you think of this. Really anything that crosses your mind.
Maybe not everything.
Not everything, anything.
Okay.
Okay. So back to Yoginidrasana. All right. We'll skip the vinyasa. It's a supta. Inhale, jump through straight legs. Exhale, lie back. I mean, you don't have to jump through with straight legs. You have to jump into it and then straighten your legs and lie back and then exhale there. So from here with the straight legs, Ashtanga, on the inhale, you bring both your legs back at the same time and then put both feet behind your head and you put them in the same configuration that we did for Dvipada, that you would do Supta Kurmasana, which is right foot on top, which is really on the bottom. And then head back and you reach around to clasp the hands under your lower back. And then stay here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you finish the 5, you release and you go Nava, inhale, Chakrasana. Don't bother doing it. We'll just break it down here. Yeah, Chakrasana is the backward somersault out of the pose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, this is actually, don't take this the wrong way in your own practice, but this is probably the easiest way to work on a leg behind the head pose, lying on your back, like Jelena mentioned earlier, because you're supported by the floor. It's actually much more accessible in some ways than the other times that we've been presented with two legs behind the head. Yeah, I think you could always try it. I think this is the first leg behind the head pose I did.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was just I was fooling around. It was for a photo shoot. A long time ago. But there's a couple things that make it unique and that don't necessarily make it easier, but make it Ashtanga. One is the way that Jelena entered into it. So she went into it with both legs at the same time. And this was the way that we were taught how to do it by our teacher. So instead of bringing one leg back, putting it behind, then the other leg back, you're going to roll back kind of like a happy baby type pose. Do you see how Jelena's hips are lifting away from the floor? The sacrum is lifting off the floor. That's letting her back round. So even though she's lying on the floor, her back isn't straight, it's rounded because the hips are coming away. And right now her shoulders are still down. Then she gets into a position where she can hold the shins with the arms. So that's kind of an interesting spot where you reach back with your thumbs like you're doing Yoginidrasana almost, And then watch, she's going to lift the head to bring the feet together underneath. And she put the right foot and then the left foot on top underneath, kind of snuggling them in underneath the shoulders. And then Jelena's head is between her heels. So this is, you can see this this left heel. The right heel is on the other side, on the bottom, and then her head is kind of between the bottom of the heels. As she presses her head back, that's going to press the feet apart. And she's not trying to necessarily get her head on the floor, but she's letting the legs come further into the behind the head position that way. Also, when Jelena sort of is rounding the back and lifting the head away from the floor, the shoulders are coming as well. And the shoulders have to come towards the hips to be able to get the arms to come around, right? Like you have to get your legs far enough behind the shoulders to be able to catch the hands.
That's why it's also important, and we encounter that when we're doing the ekapada here too. This same movement that you want to really make sure you move the calf out of the way so that you can get the leg back. It's the same thing that you're doing, but you're just now doing it at the same time to both of your calves. And then the other thing, I think it's really worth stressing why it's important to do this with both legs, and that's going to protect the lower back, because if you start doing one leg at a time, there's like a slight torque
There can be,
that can start to happen. Not always, depending on person to person, but what we mean by that is if you're here and you leave this leg there, as you try to first bring this one, you're kind of creating a little bit of imbalance potentially. So having both legs and moving through that movement at once kind of keeps the hips and the lower back more stable.
Yeah, it's like a torque that wouldn't happen if you were sitting up, because your hips can't move in the same way when you're sitting on the ground. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but because your sits bones are off the floor, there's like a little bit more of mobility that can happen as a result of it.
Maybe that's why we were told.
We were taught by our teacher to always move both legs and then do it together. And then do you do it? I do this like a little bit of wiggling sometimes.
The snuggle gets your shoulders further in. Okay, so when both legs come back, then what Jelena was talking about here, the little kind of snuggling the shoulders, and it's worth using the arms and shifting side to side. Here, she even uses her hands to pull, or she grabs the hip and pulls the shoulders through just a little more. The more the shoulders come through this way, the easier it's going to be to clasp the hands behind the back. And you can see Jelena is bringing the pressure back down towards the feet this way, but she's not trying to bring the sacrum down to the floor. We're not trying to flatten the back that way. Okay? Good. You still, even though, this is the more accessible version of the Dvipada stuff, you still have to be careful, because there's a lot of stretching happening around the sacrum and in the lower back. And so if your body hasn't kind of worked towards that, for most of us, that's not going to be a safe space to go into right away.
If you're feeling any kind of weird pressure or heat-like sensations in your lower back, please back off. It's not good. It's too soon.
Yeah, that's why it comes when it comes in the intermediate series. Yeah. So good luck, and practice safely, and remember, most importantly, to subscribe.
See you soon.
Bye.